Hi guys, just coming up to 12:30, last day of the month and quarter and the first half of the year. Got Aussie Dollar here, which has broken a trend line of sorts earlier. We're just coming back to retest that, so that's something I would keep an eye on. Certainly on the daily chart, it is interesting for the Aussie. As you can see here, we're obviously having a go at trying to break it. It looks like it could well be another false break on the daily, so worth keeping an eye on that, as we are getting squeezed in. So maybe the bigger move happens, on a close either way. So one to keep a watch on. The S&P today pretty much flat. I was just having a look at this earlier with the guys, and had quite a nice level marked up, which is the overnight high, and also really the pivot level. Other than that, I'm not too interested really in between what's going on here. I think obviously we've got Jerome Powell later on, so no harm waiting for that. Above the highs, then I think we can get a cleaner run to test 30.81, and below the pivot, obviously just be aware there is a bit of support below there, 30.21, but would be looking for price to make its way down towards that S1 and maybe the lows. So for me, I'm not too interested in what happens around here, unless there's obviously a new development and you can take advantage of that. But for now, for me, it's a wait and see. On the Aussie, just on the short time frame, I was talking about how that trend line's coming back into play, but also over the last few days it is quite range bound. So for me, just keeping a watch on those. Hour close above or below would be worthwhile noting for a move in either direction. The euro and the pound have we'll start off with the pound, as I quite like the idea here of if for the longs, it is, for me, it's a weight above the pivot. At the moment it has just been trending down as well. You can also, by the time it may well get to that pivot, you might have this trend line in play as well. So quite a key level of resistance there. On the downside, we tested it yesterday, and we talked about it yesterday as well. Just the importance of this area around. Let's wait for that to clear. Around about here, you can see we had good support, broke through resistance, and break, and the buyers took over, and we're just sort of retesting that now. So yeah, daily close will be important for the pound there, and one I'm really keeping an eye on. For the euro, this area back in March, 27th of March, has held quite well. So I think the bulls need it to stay above there, and we are at the moment a fair way away from that, but also worth probably keeping an eye on this potential trend line just from some of those previous lows. Yes, a bit messy, and it's similar for me with the pound in that you've got another decent support point, in that if we can get back above there after sort of rejecting these lows, it might be the opportunity to get long to test the high that we had overnight. So yeah, for the euro and the pound, they're set up quite nicely if we are to have sort of a false break lower and almost a short squeeze that comes from that as well. But yeah, last day of the quarter, the month, and the first half of the year, so I think it will be relatively slow. But that's not to say some new numbers out or what Powell says can't move the market. I'll just be a bit more patient than usual for today.